This old guy DIY video has to do with changing the tie rod ends on a 2013 Chevy Impala with about 150,000 miles on it. So a buddy of mine went to the local alignment place to get an alignment after replacing the front hub. And the guy said, hey, there's too much rust and evidence that the tie rods are shot. I'm not going to do the alignment until they're replaced. We'll be happy to replace it for you for $700. So he looked online, checked Rock Auto for the part number, and then went to Amazon to actually buy the parts for the quick delivery. It cost him about $80 for the parts. We just did the driver's side in the learning by doing process. That one took about an hour. I suspect this one will take about 40 minutes. But the key, if you decide to do this job, in my opinion, is to get this loaner tool set from AutoZone. When you pull the thing apart, you have to get back in here and grab onto a 1 3/16 nut. That's where this thing comes in. So you reach in there, put this on the nut, and it's a nice tight fit, so I tapped it on with a hammer. And then once this crow's foot is in place on that nut, you put this big green donkey dick over it. That allows the shaft to go right down in the middle. And when you look at the other end, it has a receptacle for a 1/2-inch drive. So we just put a breaker bar on there, and he was able to break it loose pretty easily. So that thing was torqued to 74 foot-pounds. That's what we put it back to. But there are some guys that have really nice videos on it, and I'll attach a link below to the video that we watched before taking this on, because we'd never worked on front-wheel drive vehicles and tie rods. But two keys. If you're going to do it, get this tool from AutoZone, O'Reilly, Advance Auto, whatever. The other thing that came in handy is this seal puller, because when you reach in there and you're trying to get the back of the boot, you have to actually destroy the clip on the back. And then I was able to use this little hook and get in there behind the boot and then pull the thing forward. Otherwise, if it's been in there for 15 years, it's kind of rough when you're just taking your hands and grabbing on this rubber boot and trying to pull it forward. It really doesn't want to come. And then the one last modification I made is to get the clip off that holds that boot in closest to the motor. I took the grinder and ground the edge off this slotted screwdriver so it would fit inside that sacrificial clip. And when putting it back together, we just used big zip ties, and it was a surprisingly easy operation. We learned a little bit. The engineering is impressive in my opinion. And if you prefer to spend 2 hours and $80 worth of parts rather than $750 or $800 at the auto shop, don't be afraid of this job. Just go slow, get the rental tools, and it'll all work out. Here on the passenger side, we put the impact on this nut to take it off. The whole works is spinning. You can see it's loose. I'm going to take the Milwaukee grinder and just cut that bolt off, and we'll open that joint up in about 1 minute. 18 seconds later, the bolt is cut off. This one, the inside feels pretty loose. The other one, it was this outside ball joint that was loose. But either way, it looks like the guy at Bell Tire made the right assessment. When we removed this accordion bellows cover, the vent tube was stuck in it and it came all the way out. So it took us a while to figure out where that vent tube went. The vent tube is about a 24-inch piece of tubing. Looks like there's an 1/8-inch hole in it. So it just runs from this boot on the passenger side to the similar boot on the driver's side. So I guess it just equalizes whatever pressure there is between the two sides. But if you have a problem sticking that thing back in, it's a crappy job. It took us a while to figure out where it went, but now that we know, I thought I'd share it with you. When we did this job, we counted the turns on the outside tie rod end, just like they do in the videos online, with hopes the thing would be close to being aligned. But we found that only works if you're replacing OEM parts with OEM parts. In our case, we used Moog parts, and it was nowhere near being aligned. So keep that in mind when you do your job. Thanks for watching.